Last episode, we uncovered a serpent hiding within the clouds above the Gate of Divinity. And while editing that video, I noticed something even bigger. This is the skybox at normal speed. And this is the skybox at 14x speed. At normal speed, the clouds appear uniform. At 14x, we can see that some of the clouds are actually in motion, while others remain stationary. But at normal speed, the distinction is so small that we don't even perceive it. And when you look closely at the sped up footage, it becomes easier to notice the outline of a face. Or at least it does for me. I'll leave some footage at the end of this video so you can have a look yourself. Here we have a chin, the mandible of the jaw. Here we have an eyeball. This is the nasal cavity. And the serpent peering down at us is located in the cranial region of this face. Is this Elden ringing any bells for you? How about now? The serpent in the clouds is accessing the realm of shadow from Rykard's dome. And this presents us with a pattern to watch for as we continue to uncover these alternate perceptions. What if, through multi-stable perception, we could uncover a link between the game's environments and its paintings, but from a different perspective? That would be quite a substantial way in which everything connects. So what are the implications of this revelation? Should we assume that all of the Shadow Realm takes place in the mind of Rykard as his brain becomes the god-devouring serpent's chew toy? Well, considering we entered the Shadow Realm via Egg, it's likely not that simple. Wait, are those eggs? Hold on. Okay, this is a great example of what I was talking about a second ago. At the grand altar of Dragon Communion, there's this giant dragon with a large cavity in its stomach. And not only does it share a lot of visual similarities with the hollowed out egg in the painting, it's also positioned similarly in relation to the serpent. The egg cavity looks out at the serpent from across the composition of the painting, and the dragon's cavity looks out at the serpent in the skybox from across the game map. Now, when you look into the cavity of the egg, there's certainly enough visual ambiguity to perceive an eye within the egg. But what else is new? Where things get spicy is when you peer into the cavity of the dragon and find yourself within Rykard's painting yet again, but from yet another perspective. Now it's as though we are peering up at Rykard's face from relatively close by, like on the same tray where the blood is pooling. You have the lips, the schnoz, the eye, and you even have a silhouette of the serpent. And part of what makes this all so confusing is that the positions of the objects and the perspective of the objects are mismatched. For example, because the egg and the dragon cavity are positioned similarly in relation to the serpent, we might expect that when looking in the dragon cavity that we would see the perspective of the egg cavity from within the painting. But that's not the case. It's only with a maxed out self-induced brain damage stat that we're able to yet again form a connection between the painting and the game map. Because if you scan the area around the pooled blood, you'll find this weird growth. And the dominant alternate perception of this growth happens to look like a dragon with its mouth agape and its tongue lolling out. A visual that's almost identical to the mysterious red dragon. So we have yet another connection with the in-game environment, but it's a connection only available through multi-stable perception, which runs completely counter to our usual way of understanding things and has effectively kept these connections hidden up until now. And this naturally leads to the question of where the big red dragon's perspective, with the Scadu tree seemingly in its sights, might lead us. But let's put a pin in that for now. If there's one big takeaway from this video, I think it would be that Rykard has a much bigger role in the DLC than we might have initially thought. In fact, I would not be surprised if we eventually come to understand Messmer's story as being directly connected with Rykard's. For instance, what if the Messmer we experience in-game is a multi-stable vision conjured between Rykard and the god-devouring serpent as their identities become entangled as a result of this twisted ritual? Messmer and Rykard do share a number of similarities. They're both red-headed genocide heirs, practitioners of fire sorcery, and they both conspire with serpents. They're kind of like an inverted mirror of one another. One is within a serpent, and the other has a serpent within him. One is a champion, decked out, has a ride or die keeping his things in order, and the other is an outcast, maidenless, a creature of the abyss. And this inversion may extend to their followers as well. What if the Black Knights in the game are a dark mirror of the soldiers Rykard led into battle on Mount Gelmir, while the Fire Knights are a reflection of the ancient god-devouring serpent-worshipping cult and their magma hexes? And what if the relationship described between Marika and Messmer was actually a reflection of Marika's relationship to Rykard? Both Rykard and Messmer appear to be attached to this image of Mother Marika cradling a newborn baby. And here too we have an inversion with Messmer's representation of Marika being pious, a vision of grace, and Rykard's being a vision of blasphemy. We're told that Messmer was sent to the Shadow Realm at Marika's request. And if that is the case, then what we see depicted in this painting might have been requested of Rykard to bring Messmer's crusade to life. In my next lore video, we're going to shuffle over to the right side of the Gate of Divinity, and I'm going to be explaining why this visually congested mass of clouds is a vision of Marika, and we'll see if we can find any additional insights into her role in all of this. Be sure to like and subscribe, join my Patreon. Shout out to Go With The Flow 72 for perceiving this before seeing the sped up footage. And I'll see you all next time on BardSlayer, the only lore theorist still insisting that everything connects.